We've been talking a lot about the Disney parks. Today we're going to talk about Disney Cruise Line. This is episode 15. I'm Soraya.
I'm Aurora.
And together we're just your average Disney travelers. We love cruising. We haven't done a ton of it. We've done a few cruises and they've all been Disney.
Yeah.
We have to admit we're kind of biased and we have no experience with other cruise lines other than what we hear or see on news or from people that we know that have cruised. So, all right, so tell us, how many cruises have you been on?
3.
Where have you been?
I've been to nowhere.
Okay.
Sorry,
we called it a cruise to nowhere. That was what we nicknamed it.
Yeah,
it
was like a San Diego.
Yeah, Disney, I think, called it a getaway cruise or something like that. But it was literally 2 nights, and it was back when you didn't have to go to another port in another country. You could actually leave a port and then either go to ports within the country. But this one specifically went out and stayed out at sea and came back. It didn't ever have a port anywhere else. Yep. And they can't do those anymore. So don't look for it. It doesn't exist. Well, right now nothing exists. But you're not allowed to do that. You're supposed to stop in a port outside of the country before coming back. But anyhow, so that was one of yours.
Yeah.
Your getaway or cruise to nowhere. Where else?
I went to the Bahamas and we went to Alaska, which I'm wearing the hoodie I got for that one.
Yes, that was probably our favorite.
Yeah.
For sure, our favorite.
Definitely
we loved the Alaska cruise. So I've been to 4. Obviously, those 3, Rory and I went together. And then also I did a Caribbean cruise in the Caribbean. It was a work cruise. That was back when I was a travel agent and they were doing a training. And so I was able to do that. That was my first ever cruise. I was really nervous because I get seasick, but I did all right. And so we're going to, at a later time, do a podcast that'll probably talk a lot more about how to avoid motion sickness and seasickness because that's an issue. But yeah, that was a fun cruise. It was nice being my first one that I wasn't like paying some huge price because it was a training cruise. So that way if I did get sick the whole time, I wouldn't have felt as bad.
Yeah.
So that was good to know. Anyways, okay, so Rory, tell us a little bit about Disney Cruise Line.
The first cruise that went out was in July in 1998.
So, it was a little over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are currently 4 ships: the Disney Magic, the Disney Wonder, the Disney Dream, and the Disney Fantasy.
Awesome.
And there's also going to be 3 new ships that are going to be built. And the Disney Wish is coming out in 2022. We don't really know that much about
the others. We don't know what the names will be or when they'll come out. Obviously, COVID did delay all of those 3 new ships because I believe the Wish was I think originally they were hoping for it to come out this year, but and then I think I had heard early in 2022 and now we're hearing summer of 2022, but it's coming. It's not going to be one that'll end up getting shelved or canceled. The ship's already underway, so they're going to finish that and she'll be ready to sail next summer. Oh, not this coming summer, next summer, 22.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to first bring up about Disney Cruise Line, and we're not going to get into lots of nitty-gritty details in any of the areas about Disney Cruise Line on this episode, because we plan to do future episodes that really go into detail in the areas that really need to be explained more or shared more about. And so we're going to welcome your questions or requests on what areas you want to hear more about, because we'll definitely consider that when we plan our future episodes. But before we get into everything today, one of the first things I think on everybody's mind, not even just with COVID, but in general, cruising in general, safety is a huge issue. If you can imagine, you're leaving not just the country but land, and you're out in the open sea, and there's just a lot of different factors to consider and to think about, and it can bring on some anxieties or nervousness. And so one of the things that I would just say is that Disney Cruise Line has a incredible history and reputation for being so safe, and the cruising industry obviously has standards, and there are standards that they need to meet for lots of levels, safety being the most important. And Disney Cruise Line is excellent at not just meeting those, but exceeding them. Now, it is possible to see the records. Like, they have random, every cruise ship, not just every cruise ship, all over the world, will randomly get, I guess not audited, but inspected. They'll show up for a port, at a port, and surprise inspection. They didn't know it was coming, and all of a sudden everything is totally thoroughly checked. And these reports, you know, they get graded, and then these reports are put out. And so you can actually look up the history of those and see how any cruise line, any cruise ship in any cruise line has rated in all of these different categories. And what you'll see is Disney Cruise Line is consistently just at the top. There are other cruise ships that are not Disney Cruise Line that are also up at the top too. But one of the things that impresses me the most is Disney Cruise Line has 4 ships, and all 4 of their ships are at the top. They're either at 100 or in the high 90s for their percent. And other cruise lines will have some of their ships or a couple of their ships that high, but they have dozens of ships in their fleet, but only 3-4 of them are making that list. And so to see so consistently all of Disney Cruise Line ships meeting and exceeding all of those expectations is very comforting. So keep that in mind. They've always had hand sanitizing stations before you board. They've always handed out wipes to wash your hands as you enter any dining room, and that will continue and probably be even more. I don't even how they'll step it up even more, but they'll make sure that those standards are even improved upon. Another thing that I've always heard, families that have young children are always concerned, and maybe you have shared these thoughts or concerns, is that their kids will climb the rails and accidentally throw themselves overboard. And anyway, you laugh in a way, but it's seriously, if you were traveling with a toddler that was like the way Rory was when she was little, that climbed everything and wanted to jump off of things, maybe this is a realistic concern. But I want to set your minds at ease, because all the rails, not only are they at a slant, so it would be really hard, and they're tall enough that it's not super easy to get over. It'd be hefty, but on top of that, it's just not possible. They have plexiglass in front of every rail. There is no rung to climb. It's just glass, not glass, but plexiglass. And so even in the staterooms that have verandas, that's how those all are. And so you don't have to worry about that. There has not been a toddler that has thrown themselves overboard yet. So, I mean, there might be some toddlers that are up for the task. I don't know, but just put your mind at ease. They have they've kept this all in mind. They know that they're cruising with families with little children, and so they've had all of that as number one priority. Okay, so let's go on to all of the things that we love about Disney Cruise Line. What do you want to share first?
Probably the biggest thing that's been for me are all the kids clubs.
That makes sense.
So
that the kids clubs are your top number one. Yeah. Tell us about those.
They have basically 3 groups. One of them is sort of split into 2, but it's both shared by the same age group. So they have Oceaneers Club and Oceaneers Lab. The club is for more like toddlers.
Yeah, so both of those sections are from 3 to 12-year-olds.
Yeah,
well,
so
is it 12? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, you can. So they, any kid in those ages can go in between those 2, but
the activities in club versus lab
are more like directed to.
Yeah. So in the club, they'll have like the play equipment, like if you've seen photos of, little slides and things that are, and they're so great. All of them are themed. They're fun.
Yeah.
So that they'll have, a lot of times characters will come in and interact with the kids at that ages. This is more where you're going to have more like story times and lots of movies and coloring and other games and things that are really kind of geared towards, I don't know if preschool and toddler, but also in just the younger, playful age. And then the other side, the lab, is where you spent most of your time.
I didn't really go in the club that much.
Yeah. So what did you like about lab, Oceaneer Lab?
It was just really fun. Like, you can do basically any of the activities, or they have games. I remember the favorite one was where you can drive the cruise.
The ship.
Yeah,
they would have a mock. Was there more than one station, or was there just the one?
I think there was just the one.
At least on the Wonder, which is the one
Yeah.
we've sailed the most. But yeah, you could go and you could actually steer the ship. I mean, not for reals, but like
Yeah.
on a
You also could have changed it to like a
simulator or
submarine
something.
or like something. It didn't
Yeah,
have to be
cool.
like that was favorite. One of my favorite moments is that in the game they actually had a movie playing like the spot at the pool where there's a big screen. They had like it was Finding Nemo, so he had like multiple screens like for camera, so angle one at the movie.
So you could watch the movie while you were driving. Funny. I wonder if the captain ever does that. I doubt it, but okay.
I don't think he has cameras.
So the lab also, I remember like things that were kind of like science experiment, like you could build a volcano or things like that, those kinds of
Yeah.
activities. And they had games as well, but they were a little bit more older minded in that age group. So what are the other kids? We say kids club, but now we're getting out of the kids
Yeah.
age, the kids, but
So the next one is Edge, which is like 11 to
I think
13, 14,
yeah, right in
somewhere
there.
around there.
Kind of the tween age.
Yeah, which I really like because often like you see like groups like kids and then teenagers like
But where is
like
he in
where
between?
it just sort of feels like just young kids and then old people. Well,
Old people. You're an old person now. If teenagers
Yep.
are old people,
Yep.
I don't want to know what I am. But okay, so this is like a tween,
I'm tired.
in between group
Yeah.
for that. And what you might
so-
notice is the ages will overlap. So like when you're 11, 12 years old, you can actually choose whether you're going into
Yeah.
the edge or going to the kids, the Oceaneer lab or
Yeah.
club. So when you're on that edge, you actually have that freedom to choose which one, and you don't have to pick one for the whole cruise. You could pick one and then
yeah.
go to the next, a couple hours later, go to the other one, go back and
Yeah,
forth.
so like I really love the Edge so much.
What do you love about the edge?
I don't know. It's just like I think like when I was younger, like I still am, but like I just don't like talking to people I don't know, and like when I am, I'm kind of like just kind of freaking out on inside because I don't know how to talk.
So what do you do at the edge? You don't talk to anybody?
Well,
What do you
no,
do
I do.
instead?
It's like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of kids who just for some reason just felt easier to connect with people, and the more I connect, the more I feel comfortable
Yeah.
talking. And so like
Yeah.
they're very inclusive. Like as soon as I got there, they had like they were just immediately like
Welcoming.
Yeah, welcomed me like oh, this is what we're doing right now. Like you can
Yeah.
join us. I'm like yay.
Yeah.
Like,
You make friends really easily.
Yeah.
And it's great that it's really geared towards the age group.
and
then-
also at that age, like during that age, like you don't need to be like checked out. So like
you're old enough to check yourself in and out. You don't have to have
Yeah.
a parent come and get you or
and
something.
so we would often like go in groups and get like lunch
or ice cream.
and nice both at the same time.
Yeah. Ice cream trips happened a lot, I hear.
Yeah.
So the other group is Vibe, which is the teens, and this is up to like through 17 years old. And so that's, again, probably going to be a lot more, the video games and hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
Rory hasn't quite
I've
hit there
been
yet.
into
She
the-
will be next time.
I've gotten into the room because one of the activities, like, it was like there's like
joined into their...
yeah, because there's like going to be like this party thing on deck. And so they're like, oh, Vibe and Edge are going to do a little flash mob.
Yeah, that's right. And you worked together to practice for
Yeah,
that.
so we got to practice in the Vibe room, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, you get to go there next time.
Yeah.
So, okay, we weren't going to go into too much detail. We kind of did, but that's all right. We'll do more detail
Good
actually
detail.
later. But anyway, so kids clubs, and they're all monitored by cast members, of course. And so there's lots of people to help out, but nobody else can go in. Just the kids and those cast members, except for that when they're doing open houses, when everyone can go and check them out. But you don't have to worry about anybody else getting in there. They don't let ages in that aren't supposed to be in those areas. So, all right, what are some other things? Let's see. I would say the staterooms themselves are a huge plus on Disney Cruise Line. I love that. So Disney, we haven't been on other cruises, but everything I've seen and heard in like photos and even just the specs that you can read about other ships, the rooms are dinky small, teeny tiny, and they're boring. The pictures I've seen of some have just been plain blank white walls. There's nothing in there of interest, and it kind of makes sense because on most cruise ships, they don't really want you in your room very much. They want you out. They want you in the casinos or doing other things that are maybe getting more money from you. Disney Cruise Line doesn't have casinos for one. So that's another thing I like about Disney Cruise Line. But the other thing is Disney Cruise Line knows that they've got families and we have nap times and you need downtime and you need family time. And so you need to have a space where you have room for multiple people. Other cruise ships, often their rooms sleep two. at Disney Cruise Line, the smallest rooms have at least room for 3. And then usually 4 is the most common, and some of them 5. There are also suites and stuff that you can also combine, like have rooms that are joined up together. But in most cases, it's 4 or 5. But there's more room. There's a little bit more spacious. They're not as big as a hotel room because you're still on a cruise ship. But considering you're on a cruise ship, there's a lot of room. I also like that most of the rooms have split baths, which means that you'll have a small room that has a toilet and a sink, and another small room that has a sink and a shower with a tub. And that makes it so much easier for families to get ready in the morning or when they're changing for dinner or something like that. It's just so much nicer. There are tubs. The tubs are large enough that you could bathe your kids. You could probably put 2 or 3 of them. Well, I would say 2 probably in it to do your baths. So I love that for families. I also love that the bed is raised so you can slide all of your luggage underneath it. So that saves room as well in there. Let's see.
My favorite part, so like one trip, so one of the 3 we had was actually the first one. So we actually had like 4 people.
Yeah, we had 4 people in that room.
So my bed was a loft that they pretty much like, it's part of the wall, but then like the cast member will go pull it down sort of. And then it's just a little loft bed.
Not exactly a Murphy bed, because some rooms do have Murphy beds, but this one was kind of like it just pulled down from the ceiling.
It was pretty small, but like I was also.
And it's the size of a twin, but maybe it
was a little smaller, but like I like kind of having smaller beds anyway. So.
But it's perfect for kids.
There's also a rail.
Yes, there is a rail. Yep.
You won't fall out.
Nope. And then another thing that we liked. You want to talk about the wave phones, or do you want me to?
Oh yeah. The wave phones. They're basically the rooms would come like with 2.
Yeah. Every room has 2 wave phones. You can rent or borrow from the cruise line more if you need to. I think there's like a fee, but it's a deposit. I think if you give it back, you don't have to pay. But anyways, these phones. Go ahead.
They're basic. So they just are to help communicate if you guys like separate. So like if you have like words like what we used it for was like when I went out and
like would go to the kids clubs or something like that.
And like
for
like since I didn't have a phone.
Right. Then. Because what's cool nowadays, we have the Disney Cruise Line app, which actually has a good texting feature where you can communicate to each other with that even without using Wi-Fi. Because when you're at sea, you're not using your phone service. You're on airplane mode, so you're not getting charged out of the kazoo. But they have it on the app where you can still use that service when you're on board. But not everybody has smartphones, especially kids. They may even have little flip phones, but that's not going to do any good. They need smartphones in order to use that app. And so these wave phones are another way. Just slip them in a bag, a little backpack or a purse or whatever they're going to carry. And then they've got that way to communicate.
They also have a clip. So like
that's true. They can clip on your belt.
Or like a pocket.
Yep. All right. Okay. Some other things. What's some other thing you want to bring up? We've got to stop getting into details.
Well, I guess I probably shouldn't do fish extenders.
We can talk just briefly, introduce what it is. Well, we're just not going to go into details. We're really bad at that. We should expect this is going to be an hour long because we're going to go into details no matter how hard we try not to.
So it's basically an exchange group.
Yeah, a gift exchange group that you can choose to be in. You don't have to, but it's not done by Disney Cruise Line. It is done by regular people that are sailing on that cruise with you. So you go into your Facebook group, and as soon as you book a Disney cruise, that's one of the first things you want to do is to go onto Facebook and search for a group for that cruise. All you have to do is put in your cruise ship, like the name, so Disney Wonder, and then like for this Alaska cruise, we would put Disney Wonder Alaska, and then the dates, and ours was September
2019.
Well, yeah, but it was like September 2nd through September 9th or something like that. It's on her shirt. But anyhow, anyways, so you would put that in, and you'll see one most likely, because as soon as the dates are available to book, somebody's booked it and they've created a page. So you just find a page and find your page, you join it. Once you're on there, that's where you can start interacting and asking questions and talking with people that are on your cruise that you'll be going on this cruise with. And the fish extender is that's where they organize that. And what Fish Extender is basically people volunteering to do an exchange group. Do you know how they got the name Fish Extender?
Something about fishing?
No. So on your cruise, on the Disney Cruise Line, on the stateroom doors, right next to your door they will have a fish of some sort, like on that, where it's really designed to where cast members can leave you notes and things that are like tickets to an excursion that you're about to do, or the statement at the end of the week or whatever. But what people started doing, and I don't know when this started, it might have been with the very first cruise, I have no idea, but at some point people started creating fish extenders. So they'd hang things on these fish, little pockets that they were decorated or whatever, and then people, that when you join this exchange group, when they come around to your cabin to give you a gift, they just leave it in your pocket on your fish extender. And so that's why the name is Fish Extenders. You'll see FE for short, so if you are looking for fish extender and don't see it, look for FE, and that's what it is. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. We enjoy doing that. It's fun to come up with the things to share, and then it's fun to see what you get in return.
I love Australian.
We had a lot of people sailing on our last cruise that were from Australia, and that's what's really cool. You get people from all over the world, and sometimes what they'll give is stuff that's from where they're from. And so if there's something that is pertinent to your area, that might be a fun thing to share. But yeah, we got a lot of great stuff. A lot of Tim Tams from Australia. They were so good, and so that was a lot of fun. That was one of our favorites to get.
I miss those.
Yeah, we got a good 2 or 3 families that.
And then of course also you can also share, at least we'd have like a spreadsheet or something where you just kind of share.
Oh, that was what we did. That was we liked to also share Pixie Dust. Pixie Dust is.
No, I was gonna say interests.
Oh, so when you sign up, you can share. You can tell sometimes it depends on who's organizing it. But again, we're not supposed to get into details. We're totally getting into details.
You know what? You might as well.
So you would share things like your favorite character or maybe your favorite colors, and that is all depend on who is creating the questionnaire when you start up that group. So not all groups ask the same questions,
and
but
not
it's
everyone in the group also followed it. They're trying to be
it's a guideline. Sometimes it's a guideline. Some if I happen to have something that was Spider-Man and I knew that Aurora, who in cabin such and such, liked Spider-Man, maybe that's what I would give her. But if I didn't have what she liked, like if she liked Spider-Man but I didn't have anything, then it would be like, okay, well, what else would a teenage girl like? And that's what she get.
I got 2 pencil cases. Yeah. 1 Spider-Man and 1 Loki.
That was perfect for you.
Yeah.
Each of your favorites. So anyways, yeah, lots of fun stuff with Fish Extender. So we've had fun with that. Other fun things we like to do on the Disney Cruise Line that is totally optional, but a lot of people like to do, is decorate your door. So they have the doors on your stateroom are magnetic, and you can't put any adhesive on there, so no tape or any gunk like that. That is a big no-no. But if you have magnets, you can put them on. And so a lot of people decorate their doors really fun. And so that's another fun thing about Disney Cruise Line. Okay, what else? Do you have something on your list? Do you want to shout out?
Shows.
Oh, yes. What do you like about the shows?
They're fun.
They're fun. They're like Broadway-style shows. Yeah. And each cruise ship, there's some that are on all of the ships, and then there's some that are exclusive to that ship. And so you'll only be able to see it if you go on that specific cruise ship. And they're all fantastic. They're musicals.
I want to be in one.
You want to be go for it, girl. And then get me a discount on the cruises.
Okay. I see how it is.
But yeah, they have some really great shows.
It looks so fun.
Yeah, it does. It is a lot of fun. And what's really cool is if you think about it, if you really start to think about it, it's incredible that here on a moving ship that they're able to have all these props.
Fireworks.
And well, that's true, but that's
fountains.
outside.
No, they have fountains.
Oh.
In the shows, kind of
so that's true. They do. They had some pyrogenics. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Every time I'm just like, I sure hope nothing happens.
I'm sure that they are very closely monitored.
I know.
Okay, so let's see. Other things. Dining. Dining is a huge thing on any cruise, of course. Disney Cruise Line is really, really great about their dining.
Their Animator's Palette.
Animator's Palette is one of our very favorites.
My favorite. My very favorite.
So there's lots of different ways to get food on board, and most of it is free. It's all included in your cruise fare. So there are buffets, of course. There are the pool deck has some quick service places that'll have burgers and pizza.
Burgers.
Yep, there's some burgers. I've had them before. There's also like wraps and fruit and salads and things like that that are a little bit healthier. So that's all on the pool deck.
Soft serve ice cream.
They have soft serve ice cream, nonstop soft serve, and they'll have special flavors of the day too, which is fun to go every day and see what the flavors are.
They'll on the Dream. There's the Vanellope's.
Some of the cruise ships have additional shops or places where you can get food. Yep,
place,
that is extra cost.
Yeah.
Yep.
But their stuff is really sorry.
Yep. So that's one of the ones that you would pay extra for. But the regular stuff on the pool deck, including the soft serve, is free. Also, they have main dining rooms that are open for dinner, but also sometimes lunch and breakfast. You have to look at your navigator, which you can find on the Disney Cruise Line. It has the schedule of which restaurant is open at which time, so that because they can't have them all open all the time. So they will kind of take shifts, and that way you know which ones are available for which meal. But they have the main dining rooms. It's really cool because one of the neat things about Disney, or not Disney, but just cruising in general and dining, is just that you always have the same server, and then you get to know them and they get to know you, and so they'll know what you're wanting to drink every time. Because like I always get ginger ale because to settle my tummy, and so within a couple of days, I don't even have to tell them anything. As soon as they see me walking through the door and heading to my table, they're like, oh, let's go get Soraya a ginger ale. And they're meeting me at the table with my ginger ale before I can ask for it. And so like they can start anticipating. They'll learn that I don't like tomatoes on my salad or things like that. So it's really kind of nice and funny. It's a way to get even better service. But the thing with Disney is they rotate the dining. You're not having to go to the same place in order to be able to have that type of service. You get to experience the 3 main dining rooms. You just rotate throughout the week. So you get all the different atmosphere, the different menus and all of that. And then your servers rotate with you. So when you first get you're checked in, you'll get an assignment of what your rotation is and a table number that you're going to go to every night, and say it's number 6. So every night you're going to go to table 6, whichever room you're in on your rotational night. You go to the one you're assigned to, you go to table 6, and your servers will be there with you. And so that's really cool. You still get that attention and that service, but you also get all the experience of the different rooms.
Really fun.
It is. It's really fun.
They gave us puzzles.
Yep, the servers are really great. They're good with kids. They often will have puzzles or activities to do, jokes to tell, things like that. They're really fun. Riddles. Sometimes they've given us riddles. Yeah. They'll make fun stuff out of the napkins.
And just menus.
Yeah.
Like the kids' menus, not the actual menu.
So anyway, so that's one big part of the dining. Also, there are in addition to all those things, lounges. I would say that lounges, be prepared. Those you do pay extra for, even if it's stuff that you would find in the dining room. Because it's in the lounge, it's going to cost extra. There's 24-hour room service, which is free, although there are sometimes items on there that are not free. So just be aware of that. Watch for what you're ordering. Incidentally, sodas you pay for through room service. So I always say bring your refillable cups and mugs and things, because there's a beverage station on the pool deck that's totally free. It's got all the sodas, juices, milks, hot water that you can make hot cocoa or coffee or tea. All of that, filtered water, everything is up on the pool deck. So get your drinks always at that beverage station, and then you can order food and stuff through the room service. It's fun to get warm milk and warm cookies and milk right before bed through room service. My mom, whenever she's on a cruise, will always get a Mickey bar through the room service, and so before bed. And so you can do all of that is included. Just keep in mind you should still tip when they bring the food to you. So you can add it to your room tab. It's probably the easiest way to do it, but keep that in mind to be considerate and give the gratuities for that. But anyway, so lots of different dining on board, and most of it's free. They do have some fun adult dining that my husband and I really, really enjoy. You do pay extra for that. Palo is on every one of the Disney cruise ships so far, at least. And then the 2 larger ships, Dream and Fantasy, also have an even more upscale restaurant called Remy's. And Remy's is a little bit more costly. We haven't been to that yet, but we have loved Palo. We do brunch there, and go hungry if you're going, because you're gonna eat a lot. But anyways, lots of great food, fantastic. Good time to try new things, because the coolest thing is when you're going to get something, if you don't like it, that's fine, they'll bring you something else. You can just tell them, I don't really care for this. They'll say, what else would you like? Or if you're feeling extra hungry, have 2 entrees. You can really have 2 or 3 desserts, whatever you want. That's why they always say lose weight before you go on a cruise, because you're gonna gain it once you're on it. But anyways, yeah, lots of great dining. We love it. Yeah, Disney's been fantastic with that. Okay, what else do we have on our list? Anything?
I don't have anything else.
You've gone through everything else? I would just mention things like deck parties and themed days and nights. They have really fun. All of your cruises are going to have some deck parties. Like there's a sailing parties. They've called it different things over the years. I think right now it's sail a wave party, like wave with your hands. But and they, which also is wave like the sea, I guess. But you'll see lots of people with the big white gloves waving for sail a wave party. And then there's often going to be, most of the cruises will have a Pirates in the Caribbean night, which we love. We actually
you get to dress up as a full out pirate.
However much you want, or however little you want, but
we're going all out.
We like to go all out. We've been getting better and better. So anyways, so Pirates in the Caribbean is a fun one. The Alaskan cruises actually don't have the Pirates in the Caribbean. I believe they're the only cruise that doesn't have that one. There may be others, but that's the one I've heard for sure. Well, we know for sure. They have a Frozen party instead, which is also fun. Mm-hmm. But we like the Pirates in the Caribbean party. Plus the Pirates in the Caribbean party is fireworks. Yeah, and the fireworks at sea is really neat. But there's also, sometimes you'll go and there'll be Halloween parties. If you're going during the holidays, they may have Christmas, like some.
Yeah, they did actually have a Halloween one.
On one of ours, and the one we do this year will also be Halloween.
Go little trick-or-treating.
Yep, you can go trick-or-treating. Occasionally you'll have a cruise that is actually themed like a Star Wars or a Marvel.
What?
Where they have a day at sea that is all that day, and you'll have special characters for it and things like that. Yeah,
we need to do that.
I know, and we've told you about it before, but you thankfully forget a little bit and don't realize what you're missing. And now I'm gonna have to look for booking us one, because she just.
Oh yeah.
Characters are obviously on board. This is a Disney cruise, so you will see Disney characters, primarily the main characters, as well as any characters that are in any of the shows that are on the ship. You're not going to get every character that Disney usually would have, because it's a cruise ship. It can only fit so much, so not everybody can come on every cruise. But you'll see a lot of the Disney characters. They usually will have, they will always have some scheduled meet and greet times. You'll also sometimes just see them wandering around. Goofy down by the pool, or who knows, but they do have scheduled areas and times, so that if you want to plan it, you can go and get your picture taken or autograph signed. I don't know for sure how they'll do it when cruising comes back with COVID. I don't know if they'll have to have that limited or changed somehow, but in general they do have that. They also even have Disney dining or character dining, which I forgot to talk when we were talking about food, but and it is included. You don't have to pay extra for it, but you do have to reserve a spot, and it's very, very competitive. It's very popular, so you'd really want to reserve it as soon as you can. But anyways, yeah, it's so much fun on a Disney cruise. It's great for families. It's great for people of all ages. As an adult, I just love it, and my husband and I love it. We would go without the kids easily. We haven't yet, but we would. But and there are a lot of people that do. I've met lots of people that are there and that are now grandparents, and they're not there this time with their kids, but they love the cruise line so much that they would rather go cruise with Disney than another cruise line, and they go and they have so much fun. There are adult only areas. There's an adult only pool, so it's a little quieter, and there's also there's at 9 o'clock a whole section of where a lot of the lounges and some of the areas where you might have games and activities like that during the day close off and end up becoming an adult only area in the evenings after kids are going to bed. And that's more kind of a little bit more of, either they'll have I don't want to say it's like adult performances, but say you have a magician or a comedian that is not doing just G-rated jokes. They might be doing PG-rated jokes or PG-13. They don't get too crazy, but it's just a little bit higher and a little bit higher content that you might not want your little kids to listen to. And so they have that in the evening for the adults. They'll have yeah, a little bit more of a, there could be dancing and kind of a club atmosphere sometimes. So there's lots of different options, but it's good for all ages, lots of fun, and we really encourage you to consider cruising with Disney. We love it.
Yes.
We can't get enough of it. We want to keep cruising. We're really hoping that our cruise that we have booked this year works out. So keeping our fingers crossed. All the pixie dust. But anyways, okay, so this was a little bit long, but there was our a little bit more detailed than not very detailed that we originally planned Disney Cruise Line overview. We will still, though, get into details of some of these things. So please let us know what you're interested in learning more about, because there's still lots more to talk about, and we'd be happy to do it. Anyhow, if you've been on a Disney cruise or thought about Disney cruise, share with us your comments, your experiences. It's fun to hear your stories as well. But other than that, we'll see you next week.
See you.